What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So you got President Donald Trump finally at his wits end with the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, actually confronting him face to face as he continues to ignore the great success of Trump's economy and ultimately refuses to lower the nation's interest rates, guys. And I'm excited to get to this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, top straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Well, thank you very much. We're looking at the construction, and we're with the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on over. And we're just taking a look at what's happening. You know, it's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed. One of the reasons I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital plan.
Yeah, you just added in a third building is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no, we don't. Expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So, any questions?
Mr. President, does the issue give you any?
As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire him.
Do you think this issue, Mr. President, gives you cause to do that?
Well, I'm here just really with the chairman. He's showing us around, showing us the work. And so I don't want to get that. I don't want to be personal. I just would like to see it get finished. And in many ways, it's too bad it started. But it did start. And it's been under construction for a long time. It's going to be a real long time, because it looks like it's got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
So,
Mr. President, are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. But other than that, what can I tell you? The country's doing really well. I just briefed the chairman on the deal we made with Japan. Japan is putting up $550 billion in order to lower their tariffs a little bit. That way they have a little bit lower tariff. And they also opened their country to free trade, which nobody thought was even a possibility. And we get a zero tariff in the free trade. We don't pay tariffs, and they're going to pay 15% on everything they send into our country. So it's great. But they put up, as you could call it, seed money. Let's call it seed money. You could call it anything you want, but it's a total of $550 billion. So nobody thought any of that was possible, and it's wonderful. And we're doing pretty well with the European Union, likewise, and we have some others. They're all really big, and our country's going to make a lot of money. We would be helped if interest rates would come down, but we're going to see how the board rules on that soon. I'd love to see them come down a lot, but we have a country that's thriving, We had a dead country 1 year ago. Today we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And we'll get this one finished.
Mr. President,
Thank you.
High interest rates actually stifle economic growth, hurt home buying, hurt the ability for the government to deliver the balanced budget that we all know that President Trump can. The president has spoken about this. For every point that interest rates are above natural, it's costing taxpayers $315 billion a year. That is $3 trillion over the next decade. That is $31,000 for every single American tax-paying household over the next decade, because Jerome Powell is not doing the right thing and looking at the data and lowering rates accordingly.
Fed renovations began 8 years ago. This building we're talking about was finished 5 years ago, but shouldn't it be included in the overall cost?
Absolutely. I mean, it's part of the cost. And the fact that Jerome Powell is trying to debate that with the president on live television, it was a very embarrassing moment for Powell. And I think it just shows that he is incompetent, that he doesn't know what's going on. And, you know, it's not the only thing that has driven up the cost. This may be driving up the cost of construction at the Federal Reserve, but he is driving up the cost of interest rates, the interest that the American taxpayers are paying on debt. It's about going to be about $1 trillion this year alone that the American taxpayer paying on the debt because he will not reduce those interest rates. And it has an impact on everyday Americans in terms of their credit cards, their loans on cars, their mortgages. So it's past time. These interest rates, by the way, were set when we had a 9% inflation under Joe Biden. For whatever reason, Jerome Powell doesn't want to reduce that, and it's hurting everyday Americans.
Well, I want to see responsibility and not negligence. I don't want to see personal vendettas. The American people deserve to be able to afford to buy a house. First-time home buyers, refinancing. So we need interest rates to come down. The president, Congress, you know, from a fiscal standpoint, are bringing costs down. Now, from a monetary standpoint, we need interest rates to come down. Even at HUD, we're taking down regulations, freeing up developers, freeing up localities to build. We need 7 million units of housing in our country, Maria. And so when interest rates remain high, this is crippling building, and it's costing the American taxpayer.
And that is the reason that we're seeing the housing market really unable to participate in what we're expecting or looking at to be something of a boom in the economy right now.
Yeah, you'd think the median home price right now in America is over $400,000. That's a 21% increase since 2023.
And that's the median.
That's the median.
Yeah.
And so you have people, you know, middle America, middle class families working hard to take care of their families every day, having to spend 30 to 50% of their earnings just on their mortgages or their rents. And so they can't even afford to buy a home if they wanted to. And so I think that Mr. Powell needs to bring down interest rates. And if he can't bring them down, then you know what? Step down so that someone responsible and who cares about the American people can get this economy.
All right, you guys. So I wanted to play those clips one after another to give you guys a little bit of context, fill you in on that confrontation that went down between President Donald Trump and the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Actually got President Donald Trump taking a couple of questions on that construction site after that face-to-face heated confrontation where President Donald Trump just flat out pulls out the receipts and shows Jerome Powell the overall cost of this renovation. Guys, check out what President Donald Trump had to say in the Q&A.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. And it feels very good, actually, to be back on a construction site. You know, if you remember, not so long ago, we rebuilt the old post office into the Trump Hotel, and we sold it to Waldorf Astoria. And it was a great success, and we had great luck with the building. We did a good job. We built it quickly and relatively inexpensively for about $200 million. And that was a big hotel, big project. But we looked around, and Tim Scott's here someplace. Tim, come on up. You saw what we saw. And the big thing is to get it done. They have to get it done. They have to get it finished. And very importantly, we have to get interest rates lowered in our country. Our country is the hottest in the world right now. But the one section, people are pretty much unable to buy housing because the interest rates are too high. We have no inflation. We have a lot of cash coming in. The tariffs have been unbelievable now. People that didn't even believe in tariffs are saying, what a great move that was. We have hundreds of billions of dollars coming in. Japan, just on one deal, is paying us $550 billion. And they opened up their economy. It's incredible, the deal. and they're happy. We're happy. Everybody's happy. But we should have the lowest interest rate of any country, and we don't. We should have. Every point is worth $365 billion. So we want to get the rates down, but we also want to get the Fed building finished. So I met with the contractors. We toured it with the chairman, and we had a very good tour, and we'll talk to you about it sometime. But Tim and I, we sort of understand what happened.
Yeah. Too expensive. Bottom line is this, that Americans deserve to become first-time home buyers. President Trump has created the best economy in the world. The one thing that would make it better is lower interest rates. Full employment is even more possible. Wages rise faster as interest rates come down when your employment is at 4.1% because of your leadership. We have revenues coming in at record-breaking, maybe last month even more revenue coming in than bills going out, which is remarkable.
They found $26 billion. They said, where did that come from? Nobody, I think that's been many, many decades since that happened.
I can't remember that.
They found $26 billion last month, and they said, where did that come from? I said, why don't you try the tariff? Said it was true. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, and our country's doing great, and we have no inflation, and the numbers, the job, everything is good. The one thing we have to do is get housing prices down and the interest rates down so people can buy the house, because they're all making money, but they can't get the interest rate down. We have to.
Amen.
All right. And he's been my friend for a long time.
You've been on a number of construction sites. Did you see mismanagement going on or funds that aren't?
Well, I see a very luxurious situation taking place. Let's put it that way.
So there we have it, all laid out nice and neat by President Donald Trump. He's showing us that the Trump economy is booming. There is no place to complain. We're seeing a record low inflation. It's down. It's bare minimum. We're seeing unemployment rates down low, bare minimum. But some reason we got the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, who refuses. He does not want to lower the nation's interest rates. And it's crippling. It's crippling Americans. We've got users on X actually weighing in. This is Vince Langman tweeting out saying it's now crystal clear that Jerome Powell's only mission is to do as much damage as possible to President Trump's economy before the midterm elections. We got even more users weighing in. This is Coach Tommy Tuberville saying today's a great day to fire Jerome Powell. He definitely has a replacement up. I believe he's up for replacement in next year in May, but we can see that replacement coming even sooner with Scott Bessent ready to step into the spotlight. We got Proud Elephant here on X with some breaking news saying just in, disgraced Fed Chair Jerome Powell has just been sued, accused of purposefully keeping interest rates high to undermine President Trump's agenda. And that's honestly the only rational reason that I can conclude as to why this man has not made any moves yet on the nation's interest rates. I mean, he just got that vendetta against President Donald Trump.
But filing a lawsuit today against Federal Reserve Chairman Jay Powell, alleging that the central bank is violating transparency law. The suit in part says this: Azoria believes the Federal Reserve is violating federal transparency law, and we are asking a federal judge to immediately block next week's Federal Reserve meeting from happening behind closed doors. Azoria is demanding the court order that the Fed to keep the meeting open as the company sounds the alarm on recent policy decisions, saying Azoria is deeply concerned that the FOMC under Chairman Powell is maintaining high interest rates to undermine President Donald J. Trump and his economic agenda. Joining me now is the CEO himself, Azoria CEO James Fishback. James, thanks very much for being here. So you think this is all political?
I do, Maria. Good morning. The truth of the matter is that inflation is now at a 4-year low under President Trump's leadership. 5 consecutive better than expected, lower than expected inflation readings. And the Federal Reserve refuses to lower rates from a 20-year high. That is a life-altering decision that affects Americans all over the country. They can't get a mortgage. They can't get a home. They can't start or grow their family. Azoria is now suing Jerome Powell in federal court this morning to demand that next week's meeting be open to public observation as federal transparency law requires.
Walk us through what just broke across the tape, sir.
Well, we just heard from the federal judge in our lawsuit against Jerome Powell that we filed this morning. Just as a reminder, we filed a lawsuit against Jerome Powell for breaking federal law by holding the Federal Reserve's rate-setting meetings behind closed door that contravenes the Government and the Sunshine Act of 1976. We asked the federal court very simply to block next week's Fed meeting from happening in secret. We just heard from the federal judge. She handed down the order, which is that there's going to be an emergency hearing on this on Monday afternoon at 2 p.m. in the D.C. federal courthouse. This is Judge Powell, appointed by President Obama. She has immediately ordered the Federal Reserve's attorneys and our attorneys to meet for a hearing on Monday at 2 p.m., right before the Fed is set to meet on Tuesday. Our temporary restraining order would block Jerome Powell's Federal Reserve from meeting behind closed doors. Steve, you and I see eye to eye on this. We have concerns that what Powell may be doing is politically influenced. And the American people, whether they voted for President Trump or voted otherwise, deserve to know what the government is doing in their name with their money. And we're going to bring that all to light. And so federal hearing in this emergency injunction against Jerome Powell in D.C. Monday at 2 p.m. It just came across.
All right, so a little bit of breaking news there. Seeing a lawsuit coming across for Jerome Powell. The Fed is now trying to meet behind closed doors in secrecy to discuss whether or not they're going to lower the nation's interest rates. And I feel like the taxpayers, American people, we deserve to at least know what's going on, have some knowledge into this meeting, and we get a little bit of a better understanding as to why the nation's interest rates have not came down thus far. But it seems like it's going to happen. We see that meeting that's coming on Monday at 2 p.m., a day before the Fed is set to have their meeting. Excited to see what comes of that. It sounds like that judge is not messing around. We're talking about a Barack Obama appointed judge. So this is definitely very noteworthy news. Then we got the U.S. Director of Federal Housing, Bill Pulte, weighing in, saying that he remains optimistic on Jerome Powell, saying that he will do the right thing and as early as next week. All right. I mean, we can only hope so. I mean, this is really hurting the nation, folks' ability to be able to, start and grow their family. You can't, the path to home ownership is nearly impossible with interest rates so high. We got President Trump also weighing in after that face-to-face confrontation they had with a Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Let's check out what President Trump had to say.
We had a very good meeting. Forgetting about the building, that's out of control and all that. But I think we had a very good meeting on interest rates. And he said to me, now I don't know if he's going to say this on Thursday or whenever he speaks, but he said to me very strongly, the country is doing well. He said, congratulations, the country is doing really well. And I got that to mean that I think he's going to start recommending lower rates.
Because of that conversation?
How do you think that the Supreme Court...
The country really is doing well.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Definitely a lot of information, news to take in one video, but I want to make sure that I gave you guys all the details, lots of moving pieces to this one. Hopefully the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell comes around. I mean, President Trump's been calling him too late, Jerome Powell. We've been waiting so long, and we just have to take into account the great successes of the Trump administration thus far. I mean, the economy is booming. We're taking in so much money with the tariffs. Revenue is generating. We're thriving as a country once again. Record low inflation in the last 4 years. Unemployment rates are dropping. I mean, what can we complain about? But these interest rates, it makes no sense. And now they're trying to have a closed door meeting in secrecy to hide their reason behind why they're not lowering the nation's interest rates. It's unacceptable. We deserve answers, guys. But definitely hop in that comment section. Comments are open. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next week.